My main question right now is, I know we're pretty far away from the NXT takeover, like NXT UK takeover, that we're going to be getting sometime down the road, probably after the New York one for NXT. So, if we had to pick 5 matches now from the roster that we have at NXT UK, and just more or less fantasy booking the next UK takeover.
Support, no DQ.
I'll go first on that
brave.
one. I'll do Tony versus Jenny for the NXT UK Women's Title. I would do some form of battle royal to crown the first ever NXT European champion, a mid-card title, and let Devlin go over in that, make him have a title. Because like I said, he's the MVP of that show right now.
Yep.
I would do a stipulation match for the tag team titles. I'd have Mustache Mountain go up against the Grizzly Young Veterans, but make it a stipulation where it's like, okay, if Mustache Mountain can't win the titles, they have to either break up. They have to break up at that point if they can't win the titles. That'll be their way of getting that opportunity, that one last chance to get those tag titles that they were wanting in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh my God. And then I do Pete Dunne versus Walter for the WWE UK title. We should just say it's NXT UK title.
Seriously.
That's a new point at this point. They keep calling it WWE UK title. Shit, and that's when brain dead on what the 5th match would be since I named them all. Oh my God.
I'd want to see.
That's where I'm gonna get stumped.
I was about to say all those sound great, but like we probably have to have some for like either a Mastiff or a Ligero match thrown in there somewhere.
I'm going different than that.
All right.
Oh, okay. I'll go next. Okay, so I totally agree with Tony Storm versus Jenny for the NXT or the I guess it's NXT UK.
Yeah, it's the NXT
UK. I don't know about it being a battle royal, but definitely a match, a 6-man ladder match.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
For the European Championship.
Same way they crowned the North American belt. That way you could have Jeff Hardy show up with the European belt.
No. Okay, so you include, of course, Jordan Devlin because he's winning. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. You include Jeff Hardy.
Ooh, that's nice.
He did not lose the belt, so he's entitled to the first possible rematch.
He kind of did because it consolidated with Rob Van Dam's Intercontinental belt.
Well, then Rob Van Dam was the last champion.
Yeah, he was technically the last champion. Yeah. Rob Van Dam.
Is he a free agent right now? Does it matter? Get Rob Van Dam, put him in the ring.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Former champion gets his rematch. Who else do you put in there? You put in Eddie Dennis. You put in Mark Andrews. That starts that feud back up, or that starts that feud.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4. We're at 4. So Flash Morgan Webster to help Mark Andrews, but inevitably they turn on each other. And good, yeah, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang had to be in there. Because Gallagher isn't doing much of anything else at that point.
So what is that? 2 matches. So then you've got Pete Dunne versus Walter. I agree with that for the WWE UK Championship. And then, I was going to have Eddie Dennis versus somebody, but never mind. I don't know, man. Who do you...
I was about to say, like, I just now thought about this because, like, throwing Wolfgang into that match and...
the tag champs.
Yeah, I was about to say, the tag champs, you'd have to have a tag match, actually, against the Grizzled Young Veterans, but...
Gallus.
Yeah.
The other part of Gallus.
I was thinking either Mark and Joe Coffey versus them, or versus Eichner and Bartel.
Oh, okay, so Eichner Bartel, the Coffey Brothers...
that'd be a sick
Mustache Mountain... and the Grizzled Young Veterans in a Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
Elimination.
Oh, Elimination would be a good one, too.
This is going to be a long-ass pay-per-view. Elimination. A
submission elimination match would be cool, too.
A 5th match. Kaylee Ray versus Isla Dawn for the number one contendership to whoever wins the women's title.
I can see that working, especially if they
build up some women
about
with the fifth match that I don't know what to do with. Colin, what's your 5 matches?
I want to go with the 6-man ladder match for the European title. That'd be dope. I mean, I was thinking that right off rip. As soon as he said Battle Royal, I'm like, no, it's got to be a ladder match because
It's a title.
Just a talent pool
Yes,
for it.
hang it.
put up in the air.
You know, obviously Pete Dunne and Walter, so that's 2. Either European Union or the Coffee Brothers against the Grizzled Young Veterans for the NXT UK tag titles. So that's 3. Then we got Tony Storm versus Ginny, and then I would do a fatal 4-way for a number 1 contenders match for the women's title. And I would put in Nina Samuels. I would throw in Rhea Ripley. I would throw in what's the one you just said?
Isla Dawn.
Yeah, Isla Dawn, and then I don't know the 4th, but
Candy Floss.
Candy Floss. She has had nothing but losses. How about somebody that's had some wins?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a 4th person, but I think that would be.
I guess that's the point of the Fatal 4-Way.
Throw in Killer Kelly.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
that works.
What about Kaylee Ray?
Yeah, that would work too.
That could work.
Yeah.
But then I would do that match and an elimination match. Elimination Fatal 4-Way.
That actually worked out pretty well for that match, I believe, because they'd only get about maybe 20 minutes of time anyway.
So
But I
Tony's.
think with the tag match would be cool. Best 2 out of 3.
That would be cool.
Kind of like remember DIY, the Revival and AOP. Wasn't that a 2 out of 3 elimination
I believe so.
tag match or something back in TakeOver a couple years ago?
I don't remember. Jerry,
Or am I just
you asked the
combining 2
question,
different
Jerry.
matches?
What's
Oh,
your 5
that
matches?
was the thing. I was trying to think of a 5th match myself for a long time, but I'm like, because most of the takeovers have been 5 matches, even if like one of them was more or less a squash, or like like the Ono Riddle match. But
Oh yeah, 7 seconds.
yeah, so yeah, you'd have your Pete Dunne versus Walter. You'd have Tony Storm versus Jenny. You'd have like if they brought back. Granted, I don't think there's enough time to actually bring back the European belt just yet. Like it's gonna be like maybe after that takeover, like the next NXT UK takeover.
We don't know when the next takeover is, therefore there is plenty of time.
I think it's gonna be 17 episodes from now. Because the first takeover was on the 25th episode. I think they're gonna do it every 25 episodes.
It was
But if
the
for some
25th
stupid
episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm
reason.
saying.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the 50th episode.
For some stupid reason, between now and then, Pete Dunne drops the UK title.
So you don't think like
I am gonna call Walter versus Joe Coffey.
That would actually make sense too.
yeah.
That would.
You don't think 4 months is enough time to introduce the European Championship?
Well, seeing though they just did the Dusty Rhodes Invitational, almost like half of it in one night, I'm pretty sure we can probably get the European belt in there. So yeah.
And plus, the belt's already made. So
Unless they change it to NXT
just a bitch
European
off
belt.
and shine it up a little bit.
So you guys don't know this. In the intro, I'm going to be suggesting a name for Walter's finishing move.
Yeah, we already have a cold intro shot from when we were talking with Noah last night before we started doing the other for rolling. So
Yeah, or was it with Cindy? It was something. Anyway,
no, it was Noah.
so my idea is Nummer 1. That is number 1.
That's going to be a name for the power bomb.
Power bomb number 1. It is. Because I've said this a few times, but if you're new to the team, it's the basic power bomb. If you're doing like a build a wrestler on a wrestling video game, if you're gonna do a power bomb 01 is what this guy does.
Yeah.
Just lifts them up and drops them, or doesn't drop them, like comes down with them.
He doesn't jackknife them. He actually brings it down. So,
but he doesn't sit out like a Batista bomb or anything. It is the basic power bomb. And so Nummer eins is my idea. But
plain white tee.
I want to say, what would you guys call it?
Oh God, man.
You didn't see that coming?
Walter Bomb.
The Walter Bomb.
The Walter Bomb.
The Australian Destroyer? I don't know.
Austrian.
Yeah, when I mentioned before about...
I mean, you can call it Symphony Number 9. That'd be cool.
Yeah, when I mentioned before about finding out that he speaks German, not Austrian. Yeah, I was trying to find out what was Austrian for number 1. Come to find out, there is no Austrian language. They speak German. Austria is a country, but it doesn't have its own language. So, my bad.
All right, following in the vein of champions, I have another question.
Ooh, that's a Jerry heavy
Huh?
episode. I said it's a Jerry heavy
well,
episode.
we're gonna call this a little segment general discussions.
Well, what I like about this is it takes all the shit off of me. Like, I don't have to plan none of this. As long as some of y'all have some questions for us.
It's already been revealed to us that Tommaso Ciampa may have to is going to go under a neck surgery and whatnot.
Don't make me cry, Jerry.
And
don't make me cry, Jerry.
Okay, but at this point, there's a good chance that he would not be able to wrestle again. There's a good chance of that. So, where do you guys see him doing, or what his role being, either in the WWE or NXT after the surgery's done? And who do you see picking up the belt afterwards?
I'd like to see him go to NXT and work as a producer and work as a trainer, kind of like in a Matt Bloom role.
Yep.
And he has a lot of knowledge. He's been around a long time. You know, just because you can't wrestle anymore doesn't mean you can't pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
And especially how he's kept his character so relevant too. You know what I mean? It hasn't gotten stale, and you know, he's really made himself shine. And I think if he could pass that forward to future superstars in NXT, it'd be great. But going to take his place in as champion, I mean, Adam Cole comes to mind. I mean, obviously, but also I would like to see even Pete Dunne come over from NXT UK and win the title in some type of tournament.
That'd be sick if he just dropped the belt to Walter and all of a sudden just hops right over to NXT and just takes their belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best kind of transitional champion.
Yes. Chris, your opinion on it?
Like I said, I think I can see him as being working backstage, like I said, training the future NXT stars. About to say he could teach these guys how to be a damn good heel, because he's been a really damn good heel for NXT. What I see him doing with the championship, I brought this up on the Messenger group. What I thought they would do would be at the next NXT takeover, what they end up doing, they kill two birds with one stone. What I was saying was they have a fatal four-way elimination match. You put Johnny Gargano, you put Velveteen Dream, you put Adam Cole, and oh my God, my fucking brain dead on the last one was. I said, oh shit. But anyways, what I was saying is you do a fatal four-way match, put the North American title on the line, and you put the vacant NXT title on the line, and the winner, I want to see Johnny Gargano win that, and so finally he can beat finally he can have the big one. He can say he finally won the NXT title after all those years of being there, fighting for it, just coming this close and not getting it. That would be what I would do.
Yeah, they called up Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as a tag team, and now Ciampa can't wrestle. So you take this as a, what do you call it? A blessing in disguise.
A blessing and a curse.
You know, you use this as an opportunity. Yeah, you use this as an opportunity to keep Johnny Gargano in NXT, and he becomes the next NXT champion. And then after he loses it and gets called up to the main roster, that's when Tommaso Ciampa has done enough with surgery and rehab that he can come back and be Johnny Gargano's manager.
That'd be neat.
His advocate, his mouthpiece.
Well, I was
the
about to
person that's always in his corner. Meanwhile, what he really needs is several years to recuperate and some trips down to Panama for some stem cells. And if it's not as bad as, say, where Edge's injury got to by the time he was done, because obviously Edge wrestled with it for a while, but it's a very limited engagement. So you let him recuperate for a while and tell a long story that gets them back together in a different capacity, a different role for them to split from again when he's finally able to come back and he turns on Johnny Gargano. Yeah. That's my idea.
I said this to Stefan. I would love just to see Ciampa on commentary. Just move Niles up again strictly to NXT UK and have him take over with Mauro Ranallo, who he's already got heat with. So that'd be just hilarious to listen to. Because it would almost be like listening to Jim Ross and Paul Heyman together for the longest time on the announce team, because they're just forever back and forth and bickering with each other. And then you have Percy Watson just sitting there not knowing what the hell to do. So
it always sounds like a great idea to take a wrestler that can't wrestle for a while and put him on commentary, but I disagree. I think sometimes...
Work for Punk.
Well, Punk was the exception. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, you get tired of hearing them, and sometimes you get to the point to where you don't like hearing them. Because
that's for the really uncharismatic ones, though. Because if you think about Mr. Perfect, actually did it for a long time too, and he was just awesome.
But there, with Tommaso Ciampa's character, there's not a whole lot of direction for him to go.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be that deep of a personality on the mic, and I don't think he would be engaging. In fact, I think he'd be like Booker T ended up, to where you got tired of laughing at his weird humor. And to a lesser extent, Jerry the King Lawler for me, because eventually you grow up and you get tired of him shouting about puppies.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I must have been 13 when I enjoyed watching this.
Somebody finally just screamed, somebody shut him up, and then he had a heart attack at the announce table.
Wow. That's what you get on the Rated R Report, ladies and gentlemen. That is some good blue humor if I ever heard it myself. Fuck. Has everybody talked about what they would do with him?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? Somebody's got a question, right? Colin, you got something to talk about. I'm wrong.
Let's see.
I've got another one if you guys want.
All right, let's go, Jerry.
All right.
Think about stuff.
You guys actually think of questions, okay?
Well, I got one.
All right, go on.
Yeah.
So my thing is, what is y'all opinion about that Enzo Amore tweet where he's talking about trying to pay tribute to King Kong Bundy? This dumbass put a picture of
George Gamble Steele.
Are you fucking trying to work people? Because you're just being a complete fucking dumbass. Like I said, you were not relevant as cruiserweight champion. You didn't do fucking shit in the company. You had one good catchphrase that got old real quick. I mean, are you just a complete fucking dumbass or what?
Yes, because check it out. It's the internet. So in order for him to post a picture of anybody, he's going to Google them and find the picture and download it and upload it, or just share it from the page or whatever.
He totally did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose to make a really disrespectful joke, considering the aforementioned is dead now.
Yeah.
So, I don't really care. I didn't read it. I've kind of gotten to the point to where Enzo Amore's in the rearview mirror, and I don't look up very much.
Yeah.
Every now and then I hit something and I'm like, oh, what was that? And I'm like, oh, that was Enzo. Yeah, I'm going to continue leaving him back there. Because, I mean, he lost his job for apparently good reasons.
I was about to say, there's a fine line between burying and then just pretty much, just what Enzo Amore is. He's beyond buried at this point. He's burnt to ashes and put into an urn and put into the ground, and then the urn explodes.
I mean, there's a lot of people that think Enzo Amore should be able to get his job back because, he didn't get convicted of anything. They dropped the charges, whatever. And there's arguments to be made all around, but the fact of the matter is, he's no longer on WWE, man. For whatever circumstances, what he does out there, unless he's in some independent promotion or on something that's worth a watch, somehow he got onto a New Japan show or Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I'll watch Wrestle Kingdom. I don't watch any other New Japan, but I'll watch Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Then maybe I would care about him, but otherwise, I'm not into all that, Twitter reality and reality shows and shit like that. I like my good old-fashioned scripted fights, man. They really are just like these plays. It's amazing. I think the British have a word for these kind of plays where the players and the audience both are aware that are aware themselves and are aware that the other ones are aware that this is fake, that this is a play, that this is not reality.
Pretty much breaking the fourth wall.
There's a word for it, and I can't think of it. Jerry's got the phone. You should Google it. It's the Rapport. You're allowed to do that.
I'm listening.
There's a word for it, but it really is just this act, this play, right in front of you, where the audience engages. In fact, we review about it. A lot of times, the audience is one of the more important reasons why something excites you. When the audience is really into it and yelling, "This is awesome," and "Holy shit," and you're sitting there "Yeah, fuck yeah, holy shit." Me and 10,000 other people think, "What the fuck was that? That was amazing!" It's crazy what this is, but it is all just a show.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? I don't remember. What was your question?
About the Twitterverse and everything, and you're saying you like your wrestling good old fashioned scripted
fake fights.
Yeah, fake fights scripted.
I just don't care about Enzo because he's outside of that bubble. Whatever. Make your stupid joke. I get it, but it's still disrespectful. Mm-hmm. What do you think about it, Jerry?
I'm pretty much on the fence about it. Pretty much Enzo is no longer relevant, and that's why how he's trying to keep himself relevant is through social media. All he's doing is just burning a bridge further with the WWE.
Yeah.
And AEW at this point is not even probably looking at him. They're probably who? But he's at this point he's making himself out to be an idiot and to pretty much disrespect one of the forefathers of wrestling at this point, or at least the 80s. Pretty much King Kong Bundy was the 80s for me, especially with and early 90s with his appearances on Married with Children and a whole bunch of other shows. And for him to for Enzo pretty much to be disrespectful to him in any way, shape, or form, like you said, he would have had to Google the name and would have pulled up plenty of pictures of King Kong Bundy before he pulled up a picture of George the Animal Steel. He did that shit on purpose. He gets whatever's coming to him.
Yeah, I think he's expecting whatever's coming to him.
Yeah,
he's a troll.
Yeah, he is.
But I guess he's always been, right?
He looks the part.
See, in kayfabe in WWE land, he always had big cast behind him, so he could say whatever he wanted to because he had a 7-foot-tall behemoth behind him to keep people from hurting him.
Yeah.
Now, with Twitter, he can do that just because he's got a keyboard and he can't punch somebody through a phone. Not yet.
Wait for the app.
Wait for the punch you in the face app. Oh. You got anything, Colin?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was blatant disrespect because, like you said, he obviously had to look up the image to do it, search it. And, I mean, if you're any type of wrestling fan, you know the fucking difference between George Chainsaw Steel and King Kong Bundy.
Yep.
If you don't, Google does.
Yeah, exactly. He's a troll, like you said. He's an arrogant, egotistical little man syndrome. Like, you can't touch me because I sit and hide behind things type of dude. I mean, at best, he's going to get with maybe Ohio Valley. Maybe.
Ohio Valley's got too good standards to hire Enzo Amore.
He's got a stigma to him now. He's about as likely to get hired as
his name means nothing.
He's about as likely to get hired as Ellsworth.
I was about to say
maybe they can do a tag team. You know what I mean?
He's so blacklisted at this point he'll have to go to Mexico.
Yeah, he could go to Mexico.
They could be the Diddlers or something. You know?
I got one more thing I was on my mind, so I'll just get y'all's opinion. So what do y'all change to get off Enzo Amore now? Because he's just a piece of shit. But on the women's, all right, we got to talk about the women's evolution, everything like that. So what do you think is going to be the definition of the women's Grand Slam? So now we have the men's Grand Slam, winning all the belts and stuff. What do you think the definition of the women's Grand Slam is going to be? Would you include the NXT women's title with that? Or would you have to do it where it was like the Divas Championship, Raw and SmackDown, and now the tag titles that they've just created now?
So has Bayley or Sasha been both? Has Sasha Banks been Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion?
No, neither one have.
So as soon as one of those wins the SmackDown Championship, that's when you have it, because both of them have been NXT.
Or if Alexa wins the tag.
Or no, wait, was Bayley NXT champion?
No.
Was Bayley NXT champion? I don't think she was.
No.
Yes,
she was. She beat
Sasha.
So right now, they would be the only two
30-minute women's
contenders.
Iron Man match.
That's right.
Or if, let's see, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, or, no, not Becky even. Just Alexa.
Not Becky yet.
Alexa or Charlotte were to form a tag team with somebody and win those titles, or if they formed one together, that would actually be really great.
I think Charlotte would be a little more in it than Alexa then, because Alexa never held the NXT title.
But do you think Charlotte already classifies as a Grand Slam because she had the NXT Women, she had the Divas Championship, she had the Raw Championship, and she had the SmackDown?
Not until she wins the tag titles. No.
Like I was about to say, you'll probably just want to keep the main brands, like Raw and SmackDown. And
I don't want to count the Divas title either.
Oh, God,
we're far enough past it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a different title. It became the Raw Women's Championship. Or the Women's Championship.
They retired it and made a much better looking belt.
I know. But the name was brought up, so I just wanted to specify it. But no, I think, I don't know, should the NXT be in it or no?
I don't think it should, but I think it helps in credibility. I mean, for real.
Okay, so there's
having a real championship belt for a real company is pretty neat.
So isn't there a Triple Crown champion and then a Grand Slam champion, right? So
in this case, there's no mid-card title, so you have to consider the Raw and SmackDown titles to be separate world titles.
Yep.
Because when you have a Grand Slam champion on the men's roster, you could have either the Universal or the WWE Championship. You don't have to have had both.
But see,
so
the
there's a
original
caveat
Grand
here.
Slam consisted of the WWF Championship, the European, the Intercontinental, and the Tag.
Yep.
So it was two secondary titles. When it went years later, they considered the World Title and the WWF/WWE Championship as two titles and considered that into the Grand Slam rules too.
So you have to have one heavyweight, two mid-card, and a tag team.
Yep.
In
Well,
this
they
case,
changed it years later where you could have both heavyweights and the secondary title and a tag title and make it a Grand Slam. That's why a lot of other guys got the Grand Slam title because of that, going by that rule. Because if you went by the original rule,
So
the
pretty much
European title
any
hadn't existed in a
combination
long
of 4
time.
belts.
so in order to do this, you kind of need the NXT Championship or Women's Championship.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing it up. That's the
The
only way you
count
can
as
do
the count as your main card title.
Yep, pretty much start from the ground up, more or less.
But considering the women that have held the titles and are this close, that are Triple Crown and this close to Grand Slam, it works.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like 4 of them, and 2 of them hold the one title that the other 2 need.
That's pretty insane.
But those 2 are on the wrong brand to get the SmackDown Championship.
Shake-up's coming.
For now.
That's
And
interesting.
again, too, if we're trying to count the NXT women's title, we also need to try to count the NXT UK women's title, too. If later
No.
on, like a Tony Storm or Rhea Ripley were to
I like how Blunt called us no.
No, because that'll count as an NXT title. That would be like that would be like either you held the US or Intercontinental title, like you held one of those. So
Okay.
There you go. That's your European.
Yeah, we have
belt.
to include as many main roster titles as we can for the women, but we don't have to include all of the non-main roster. All of the stuff that we cover on What's NXT and
NXT
the NXT
Party.
Yeah, just a quick plug there.
here
So
on Aftermatch Wrestling.
I don't think it's too early to talk about the shakeup.
It isn't.
Some people that you not just okay. There's 12 people that I want to see move from here to here to here. Who needs to get sent to the opposite brand right now? Like right fucking now. Like they're dead in the water where they're at. Let's start with Chris.
EC3 needs to move to SmackDown because he ain't doing jack shit on Raw. I think he'd be a better fit for SmackDown. That's one.
Well, technically they're supposed to be on both right now.
Yeah,
None of
but
them
he
have
hasn't been on
picked it.
SmackDown in like forever. He's only been on Raw, it seems like, and all he's doing is looking at a fucking mirror. The last match was against Dean Ambrose.
But the fact that he can be used on SmackDown and he isn't doesn't lead me to believe he'd be used any better if he was permanently on SmackDown.
Yeah.
About to say, who else? Shit. I don't know. I think maybe when Miz is done with his stuff, what's going on with Shane McMahon, he moves back to Raw.
The Miz is due for
I don't
another
really honestly know
title
other
run.
than those 2 right off the top of my head because Dean Ambrose is leaving.
Either the
Roman
Miz
Reigns
needs
going to
to,
stay on Raw. I don't know. I think maybe Strowman needs to go to SmackDown, give him a different chance. But like I said, they pretty much killed him on Raw, pretty much. All the bullshit bookings they've done with him with the Universal title.
What about you, Colin?
Nikki Cross back to NXT.
Ah,
Let's see. I would like to bring. Crap, I just had it too. I'd like to take McIntyre over to SmackDown.
nice.
I would like to take Finn Balor and the Intercontinental title over to SmackDown and bring the United States Championship to Samoa Joe to Raw.
Good.
That'd be a hell of a shift right there.
Let's see. I would like to put Heavy Machinery back in NXT and bring up Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
To SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
SmackDown's going to do the hand here.
SmackDown, but then the Usos would go to Raw.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. I think AJ Styles needs to go to Raw. And since Dean Ambrose is gone and Roman Reigns is back and yada yada yada, Mr. Seth freaking Rollins to SmackDown. Trade him and Styles.
That'd be a hell of a shake-up.
Yeah.
You can hire me, WWE. It's okay.
So I'm not doing anything else.
I'm down.
So, what about you, Jerry?
Well, you know me, I really don't watch a lot of the main brand stuff.
Yeah, what's up with that? Can you explain that to me real quick? Like,
No cable.
I don't have cable. I come over here and I watch like NXT and NXT UK.
With me.
And I'll take the knowledge I know from like either video recaps online or whatever else to make any kind of predictions or anything I do. So, but otherwise,
you have the internet at home, right?
no.
No, okay. I was going to say if not, then you have to have a chat after this video. But
I have it on my phone, and that's why I do a lot of my stuff from anyway. So,
gotcha.
but
I always wondered.
My thing is, yeah, like NXT and NXT UK are my bread and butter because that's what I get to watch every week, and I get free food, and I get to hang out, you know.
And talk about wrestling with several hundred,
wrestling in a hot
couple
minute
hundred people.
can't go wrong.
Oh, tonight it was Domino's. It was delicious, but like they're gonna start on McDonald's from last night, but for shake-up wise, God. You guys actually had some really good ones, but my main shake-up would be I'd send Ronda Rousey fucking home.
Oh, who didn't see that coming? Oh, so
Shocker.
so either the Miz has got to go back to Raw or the Intercontinental title has got to go to SmackDown because the Miz needs to break Jericho's record for Intercontinental Championships, and he's got to be on the same show as the Intercontinental
He's got to
Champion.
announce his Jericho.
Yeah.
Since Jericho left for All Elite, they have to like take away any of his credibility at this point.
Yeah,
And-
so Finn Balor to SmackDown versus The Miz. There you go.
For me, I vote to put the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. And so, yeah, Finn Balor to SmackDown would be awesome if he's still got the title. I also think that you take the Universal Championship to SmackDown and send the WWE Championship to Raw. And the Universal title turns blue.
That'd be dope.
Let's see, who do you send with it? You send Kofi to Raw with the WWE title, and you send Seth Rollins to SmackDown.
And is that how you break up the New Day then?
That was going to be my next
No,
question.
I was actually going to send the New Day to Raw because Raw needs a major uplift in tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the Usos need to go to Raw. The New Day needs to go to Raw. And
I
I
just
think
don't want to see that same bullshit back and forth we see on SmackDown.
you know what? Just to know that you could put the Usos and the New Day in the ring together and it's going to come out great is a good enough reason to keep them on the same brand. It's kind of the same reason you want to keep Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on the same brand.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can always just fall back to that match. But at the same time, I think that New Day belongs on Raw because Raw's 3 hours. And they can fit the New Day bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the
There's
Usos...
some more pancakes and stuff.
I think the Usos belong on Raw because that's where Roman Reigns is. And there always needs to be that opportunity for the Usos and Roman Reigns to turn heel at the same time and form a fucking Super Samoan faction.
That'd be pretty
Heel
sick.
faction. But at the same time, you help beef up Raw's tag team division, which really sucks right now. And you put Ricochet and Aleister Black on SmackDown. So maybe you take one or two of the shitty tag teams from Raw, like the B Team and Zack Ryder and Carter Hawkins. You put them on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Let's see, any of the bigger guys. John Cena, of course, is dual branded. He's bi.
He goes wherever he wants.
He's bi brand. So he's kind of out of the picture. Dean Ambrose is going bye-bye, or so they say.
What about Strowman?
Strowman's going to stay on Raw because he's a gigantic motherfucker. I don't think they put him on SmackDown. Maybe after SmackDown goes to Fox. But so we're talking the next shakeup after next year's WrestleMania. If the brand split lasts that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something to talk about. How
It's a
long?
big,
I really love the brand split because it's the best way to deal with such a bloated fucking roster. if they went back to one brand, both shows, then they'd have to fire like a third of their roster.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they'd be doing nothing with them.
They'd all be sitting back in catering.
Because people expect the
Yeah.
storyline to continue from Raw to SmackDown, when in reality, SmackDown needs to be completely different storylines, just not necessarily the same cast of characters. You can shuffle in and out to where you don't miss people so much, kind of like daytime soap operas do, and they put on 5-hour-long shows a day.
Mm-hmm.
Or hour-long shows 5 days a week.
There you go.
Sorry. I'm sure they
That's a
record
long-ass soap
5-hour-long
opera.
shows in a day.
That's a long-ass soap opera.
But WWE's not really good at that.
No.
And it's weird how they've had 20 years to watch these shows and be like, oh, so this is how male soap operas should be formulated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, fuck. Because we don't watch The Young and the Restless.
We don't.
Oh, I don't. When I was a kid, I watched General Hospital and what's the one that was on NBC?
Days of Our Lives?
Yeah, Days of Our Lives with my mom. Because she owned the TV, so I watched what she watched.
My mom would work, and I'd have to go into like change the channel on the VCR to go from CBS to NBC to ABC.
Record them all for her. Yeah, that's what my mom did. She programmed the VCR to record those two shows.
And she'd be watching her programs.
Well, everybody else was watching primetime television. We were watching soap operas. Except on Sunday nights. That was X-Files.
Okay, so a little bit of dream booking here, or my take on this whole thing. What because you just touched on this a second ago. If Kofi Kingston wins this title, where does that leave the New Day? You think they're going to stay together?
I feel like that's the most likely outcome, is that they just stay together, because they're too valuable together unless you've got a distinct long-term booking plan for them. Mm-hmm. And we all know WWE's not the best at long-term booking.
Nope.
So I'm hopeful that it works out and they stay together, because they don't need that storyline right now.
No.
They've got too many great people over on SmackDown. They don't need that storyline right now.
Yeah.
See what happens after the Superstar shakeup. Yeah. But certainly not at WrestleMania. So maybe a couple weeks after, because I think the Superstar shakeup is the week after, the Monday after WrestleMania.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Colin, your take on it before you fall asleep.
One more time. What? I completely just zoned out.
It's no problem, man. Where do you see the New Day going? If how do you see it?
Okay, so if Kofi wins and he goes to Raw and they have to go with him, Big E and Xavier can go into the tag team division and they can try to go that whole route, and then I could see them maybe getting frustrated with each other. And maybe leading up to a breakup. But I see them entering the tag team pool just solo. I mean, not solo, but,
without Kofi.
And not with the Freebird rules. It'll just be Xavier Woods and Big E as tag champions. I think that'd be cool. It's been what? We haven't seen them with the red titles, have we? No.
Yeah, we have.
We have.
They were the longest reigning Raw Tag Champions when they broke Demolition's record.
Were they red?
Colin's like, I need to go to sleep.
I don't even remember.
They debuted. They debuted as
bronze ones, and then they went to red. But they were still the
champions. They were the champs when they debuted as red.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's been that long though. You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
I don't know. I wouldn't, honestly, in my opinion, I'm ready for the New Day to break up. I don't want to sound like a New Day hater because I'm far from it, but it's been a hell of a run.
It's been a run, yeah.
So you
it's
think
been a hell of a run.
You think the cracks in the New Day are going to start when Big E and Woods become a tag team, and then they split up, and then Kofi's got to intervene and be like, "Hey man, we're a team," and they're like, "Fuck you, Kofi, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." He looks at the ref. You're cool. I'm out.
You just worry about being champion. You're
Maybe
too good for us now since you won that belt.
Maybe they end up costing him the WWE title. And then we end up with a New Day triple threat match at WrestleMania next year.
Oh, that'd be insane.
That's a long way to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Or SummerSlam.
If you give Kofi the WWE Championship,
I mean,
if you finally
could
did
pull
it,
off a new triple threat at SummerSlam.
he could definitely hold that title for 6 months.
Yeah.
Without you'd blink your eyes and it would be Kofi Kingston as the champ for 6 months, and you'd be like, wow.
Support, no DQ.
You're having the first 100% African American WWE champion. They need to give a decent run.
Yeah,
because
absolutely,
it's a fucking joke.
Give us some credibility there.
Yeah,
See, what I can see them doing is they could they have Kofi win the WWE title. Like I said, they move them all to Raw, and then Xavier Woods and B keep going for the tag titles, and they keep just coming up just a little short. They keep coming up a little short. They get a couple cracks at it, and then they start having a little friction there, and then they get to a point where Kofi Kingston maybe has to wrestle somebody like Braun Strowman, for example, for the title. Has to defend title against Braun Strowman, for example, and Kofi's determined he's going to do it on his own, and then they end up trying to come out there and interfere to help Kofi retain the title, and that causes some friction. He's like, hey, I'm being a fighting champion here. I'm trying to defend this title. I know I can beat him, and then they start having more friction with that because they didn't believe that Kofi could beat Braun Strowman, for example, and they start going from there. That's when the friction starts.
I got to be honest, I wasn't paying attention to a lot of what Chris said. I was over here daydreaming about the Raw and SmackDown for the shakeup.
Yeah.
And let's say it's the end of Raw and it's the last draft from SmackDown to Raw, and they say the New Day. And people are like, wait a second, Kofi's the WWE champion. What do they mean, the New Day? Do they mean all of the New Day? Do they just mean Xavier and Big E? And then you hear the intro for the New Day, but we're running out of time and there's no more runovers.
Yeah.
And so it cuts off before you find out whether Kofi came out with them or not. So you tune into SmackDown, and the first thing you hear on SmackDown is Seth Rollins' music.
Yeah.
And he is the first draft from Raw to SmackDown, and he comes out with the red Universal Championship. And you're like, holy shit, Kofi Kingston really did get drafted to Raw, and now we get Seth Rollins on Smack.
That would be pretty cool.
I'm over here giving myself goosebumps, man. That would be amazing.
All right, so here's what I would do, and this is more of my brain working at work because I have nothing else to think about. It seems like kind of like the whole Brock Lesnar attacking Roman Reigns thing. This is how I would want to see it unfold in my head. I would want to see Kofi Kingston actually win the belt at WrestleMania. Big celebration with the New Day in the ring and everything. But then as time goes on, the seeds of jealousy are going to be playing Xavier Woods. I see one of the first feuds that Kofi Kingston has after probably a rematch with Daniel Bryan, I'm guessing.
No automatic rematch, but I could still see it happening.
Yeah, he'll get his rematch, but he'll lose. But then the next contender for Kofi Kingston will probably be Mustafa Ali, saying that Kofi Kingston took the spot that was meant for him. So there's going to be that jealousy angle there too. But I see after a bit, Xavier Woods getting sick of just being almost feel like he's in Kofi Kingston's shadow, and nobody is bigger than anybody in the New Day. Even though he's been touting that Kofi Kingston's been here for all these years and everything, and he deserves what he gets. The seeds of doubt are going to start getting played in Xavier Woods' head, and that's going to cause friction between Xavier Woods and Kofi. Big E is going to be in the middle as kind of trying to be the peacekeeper, almost like Chef, like easy there, children. But like that's not going to end up working, and that's going to cause the group to break up. And you're gonna have
he only has pancakes. He doesn't have chocolate salted balls.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have but then you'd have Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston for a title after a bit. But then you have Big E just kind of hanging out off to the side, not really knowing what to do. And this is where my brain kicked into overdrive to one of the coolest things I think I've ever thought of in my entire life. And it's highly unlikely it'll actually happen. But Keith Lee gets brought up from NXT, and him and Big E become a team. Power and Glory. They use the old 80s like Hercules and Paul Roma logo for Power and Glory. And like Big E even comes out with the Hercules chains on, and they become like one of the biggest tag teams in the company.
That sounds like a good idea. But here's another thing we're not even bringing up too. What if something happens afterwards where it's Money in the Bank and Xavier Woods and Big E are in that match, and one of them two end up winning the briefcase while Kofi's still the champion?
That's something else that could happen. That'd be brilliant.
The briefcase ready to cash in on him at any time.
Yeah, because I believe Money in the Bank's in May this year.
Can you imagine if Big E's climbing up the ladder and all of a sudden Xavier Woods climbs up on his back and like runs up, like gets the briefcase?
Climbs over him.
Oh!
Does a Kofi spot to get the briefcase.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Especially if like the New Day has split at that point, and Big E and both Big E and Xavier Woods are in that match. Either way, like if that could cause a breakup or it could be after the breakup. I'd be for either one of those. That is a great idea.
Okay.
Because then you would have that tension at any moment. Kofi's spinning the title or going out there, and then he's got to watch his own partners going, okay, are y'all going to try to cash it on me now, or what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if it's entertaining, I'm all for the New Day breaking up, but I somehow feel like they're still more valuable entertainment-wise together than they are separate. But I'm all for the tag team scenario where they break up there and then they cause friction and it turns into a triple threat at Mania.
That would be sick.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea. Because by Mania, Kofi will have lost the title to somebody.
Well, that's what I like about that.
Yeah, they caused him to lose the title.
You know how I am with the triple threat matches. I like the idea of having 3 different styles in a ring. Because with this case, you'd have the aerialist that is Kofi Kingston. You'd have the mat technician that is the Xavier Woods. And you'll have the powerhouse that is Big E. So that'd be perfect.
So any other topics before we cut this short?
It's like you cut this short.
You got one?
But I got one just real quick.
Let's make this the main event.
We're going to make this one the main event. Better be a good one.
All right, then. So we always talk about the Hall of Fame. So in y'all's opinion, excluding Chris Benoit, because obviously he's never going to get in the Hall of Fame, what other wrestlers that are either currently in the Hall of Fame or haven't been put in the Hall of Fame do you not believe that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
There we go. That's a good question to end on.
That do not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, if you have somebody that's in the Hall of Fame now that you don't believe deserves to be in the Hall of Fame,
I think everybody knows Aaron Riff's answer, Coco Beware.
Or somebody that's not in yet that will never get in there.
Tori Wilson?
Tori Wilson. Like, why the fuck is she going in? Besides showing her titties in Playboy, she didn't do anything in my opinion.
Let's be fair. They're nice titties.
They are. They are.
Let's actually be fair. She had a decent career. And I think given more time, she'd be a natural for the Hall of Fame eventually. I mean, she came over from WCW and survived. Maybe she had to show her titties in Playboy to survive, but she survived. 90% of the people that came over from WCW, they got flushed down the fucking toilet.
There's so many other women.
Right. That's the point.
So many other things.
10 years from now, when everybody else that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame has gotten into the Hall of Fame, maybe there's another first, and we're going to get it this year. The first Hall of Fame where 2 women get inducted.
That's true.
Yeah.
Boom. And they're not even jumping on this.
No, they're not.
They should have fucking Evolution logos and shit that are talking about first Hall of Fame ever where 2 women get inducted. Blah, 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 blah. And Stephanie McMahon does it. Even though it's completely disrespectful for Stephanie McMahon to ever think about inducting China into the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
But maybe she could get away with inducting Tori. I think Stacy Keibler needs to induct Tori.
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
And then we'll
That
see
would be
Stacy
cool.
Keibler get inducted next year. Even though she didn't show her tits. Although we all wish she had. I think we all wish she had. I mean, I know I wish she had. Jesus.
I mean, we're all at that prime
Yeah.
age for the attitude.
Oh, I was on board with the Miss Hancock gimmick.
Oh,
Yeah.
from WCW?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so glad they kept
Shit.
her. She was great. She was a much better actress than she was in the ring, but she was still good in the ring considering when she was originally hired in WCW, I doubt she expected to ever get physical.
She was a Nitro girl, wasn't she?
Uh,
Yeah, she
She
was.
started off as a Nitro girl.
so, Tori Wilson, yeah, that's a good one.
Drew fucking Carey.
I was about to say, God damn.
Drew Carey should not be in the Hall of Fame in any way, shape, or form. He barely doesn't even need to be on The Price is Right.
Oh,
I do miss his old show, though. Drew
you want to
Carey
hear
show.
some
That was pretty funny.
controversy? The Warrior Awards.
Oh.
Mm.
I'm just saying, they weren't even wrestlers. I mean, do they get a Hall of Fame ring? If they don't get a Hall of Fame ring, I'm okay with it. I'm just saying, when you put people, you know, like that'd be like the Pro Baseball
Hello,
Hall of
Satan.
Fame.
Yeah, I'll hold.
The MLB or the MLB Hall of Fame inducting people that weren't baseball players or involved in baseball. They were just fans.
I'm just a really big Red Sox fan. Can you put me in the Hall of Fame?
You know, they were fans that happened to have diseases and
I have asthma.
I'm just saying, like, they're not wrestlers. What they should be is inductors, like shit like that, you know.
That would be a cool Make-A-Wish thing to go ahead and like induct somebody into a Hall of Fame.
That's kind of because that puts them right. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for that, but I'm just saying. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, I get it. Obviously,
radar
like Aaron
report
Rift always
on
says,
fire.
if Coco Beware goes into the Hall of Fame, then the Hall of Fame really is meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is meaningless. So I guess sure, put them in as special, you know, award winners or whatever. But I just think
You participated in life.
I think it was a really
Thanks for showing
I think it was a really short-sighted, wrong move to like put them into the Hall of Fame. Like I because now it sets a precedent. They have to do that every year,
Mhm.
and it just I think they should not have done that.
Okay, that's enough.
All the hate goes down in the comments. Go ahead. Nobody watches this shit. No, nobody's gonna make
Watch
it this
this
far.
be like
Hopefully,
the most controversial, popular video we did.
if it gets us to 100 subscribers, then
I
Roast-
guess it's worth it.
roast me. Yeah, I know I'm a piece of shit. We all are. You know,
So I said.
I happen to think in a pragmatic sense. Like, I get that it's, you know, it's good feels, you know, for these people. You know, oh, you show good fighting spirit, and you know, you're a warrior in fighting your disease, but they're not wrestlers. And this is a Hall of Fame for wrestlers. So pragmatically speaking, I don't think any of them should actually be in the Hall of Fame. In 1,000 years, people are going to look back on this and be like, "Oh, a Hall of Fame of warriors," and then they're going to see these pictures and be like, "What did they make these poor people do?
And now every year we're gonna have to listen to Dana Warrior.
Look what they did to these children."
Oh,
They won't understand that they were just fans that were warriors when fighting their diseases. Oh.
We're burning in hell for this one.
Like I said, at least it'll be warm.
No, the original idea was like to give the award to people like Jim Johnson, for example.
Yes.
For all the contributions he's done, and like the backstage people for all the contributions they've done, and it's just like, okay, well, you just took this one idea, let's just completely flip it and do this instead.
I get that it slightly breaks the fourth wall, but for real, that should have been the way that Jim Johnson got into the Hall of Fame before they fired him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief, that man. If anybody that has never been seen by a wrestling fan deserved to be in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, it is that
him.
man. He gave us Stone Cold's Break the Glass.
He gave us Real American. I hate Hulk Hogan, but I love that song.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was singing it at work the other day. Jesus.
Some of the greatest. Some of the
Let's
greatest.
see here. I think somebody I'll never see in the Hall of Fame never would be probably CM Punk be the one that never goes in there. He'll probably refuse it every time because he just so much hates WWE at this point in his life. I never see him going in. He's going to be that one that just absolutely refuses. Anytime they ever offer it to him years later, he's going to be that one that absolutely refuses.
Because his bulb is already dimming.
Yep.
And eventually he won't seem like that big of a deal unless he goes to AEW in any capacity, be it commentary or whatever. Unless he gets back into wrestling at some point, eventually his bulb is going to dim to the point to where he's going to see it as an opportunity to bask in the glow of his fans one last time or one more time. And I guess if he's willing to do that, then you never know, but I think there's a slight possibility, man, for real. I think there's a slight possibility that eventually he'll say yes.
I can see AJ Lee going in before him.
Oh, definitely AJ Lee.
Yeah.
She needs to go in like the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
She should have gone in before Tori Wilson.
I'm surprised they didn't put Paige in this year with her, like I said, having announced that she couldn't wrestle anymore. I'm surprised they didn't put her in.
Totally. I mean, they put Edge
I
in
think
right
he
after
did
he
more than Tori Wilson did.
But Edge had already been in the company for a better part of like what, 15 years?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when the timing of it. Like if he had just retired because he was done, it would have been way too soon. The timing of it was only because of the injury. Only because of his retirement. So I think it would have been fine. I think you're right. Fucking that's who should have been inducted as a female this year was Paige. But nope, we get Tori Wilson.
Because she was the youngest, I think, women's champion.
Yeah, that too.
And she would be the youngest Hall of Famer too, because I think the youngest one right now is Trish Stratus. I think is the youngest Hall of Famer right now currently.
Didn't Connor make it?
I'm not talking about the I'm talking about the people that actually wrestled in the ring and performed for people.
He technically
You got the ring once.
Triple H.
Yeah, he pinned Triple H, man.
Yeah.
He's 1-0.
Yeah.
He's undefeated.
You
know what? I take it back. Because of the awareness, I think it is fine for Connor to be in, but turning it into the award and making it, just a different person, I think that was a bad idea. Connor was okay.
Yeah.
One-time shot.
Mm-hmm.
Totally makes sense.
Yep.
And he was a super fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not redeeming myself, but
Nope.
There's no redeeming us on any of this.
So, on that note, anything else?
Nah.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick roundup. Chris, Colin, thank you guys for participating as per usual.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem.
Just less time to sleep, that's all that means.
Yep.
It was really no more work. It was just stop that show, start this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you like all this bonus content, you should click the bell down there below Jerry because that's going to let you know when these videos go live. And subsequently, when we finally reach 100 subscribers, that'll let you know when we do What's NXT and the NXT Party, which we're kind of thinking about doing the NXT Party still as a recorded show just because of the Skype issues.
Mm-hmm.
And just do What's NXT live every week. It's just me and Jerry answering the fans' questions. And plus, NXT's watched more than NXT UK anyway. So I feel like the same people that watch NXT UK are going to catch us on the one live show we do each week. Mm-hmm. We still might do them both. Depends. I might get really used to not fucking having to do the editing or anything else after we get done recording. That's fun.
The editing's the fun part, though. Getting to hear
Yeah.
support, no DQ.
No more
support,
of the fun
no
edits.
DQ.
That'll be our way to
You can
spice
do the-
up the NXT
You
party.
could do a live show for the NXT, the next NXT UK show pay-per-view they have. You could do a live result show for
Oh,
that.
that would be really cool.
Only if we hit 100 subscribers first.
And we have to make sure we're actually off on time for it.
At this rate, at this rate, we're likely to hit up 100 subscribers, but it could taper off. It could always just be, oh, this bunch of people wants to view, and then it just tapers off at like 70. Who knows? But we're like at 53, 54. We're well on our way.
Yep.
So we'll be coming live to you soon. But yeah, if you want more exclusive content, subscribe to Aftermatch Wrestling, AFTERMATCH, all one word, then wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Cleaver, Colin, Andrew, the Holiday, Chris Mace, the General, Jerry Slaughter, the Wizard, Stefan Osborne, thanks for watching.